welcome back to the channel. Today I will be recapping or giving my reactions to the Houston Texans absolutely dominating the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-6. The game, I don't want to say it wasn't a blowout, but it kind of was. Just score tells you this was not a close game, but for the most part it was. For the most part, this game was close. It wasn't because the Steelers were doing anything offensively. As you can see from them only scoring 6 points, they did nothing. But it was just because CJ Stroud had a really bad performance and the offense really wasn't clicking until the fourth quarter. And even in the fourth quarter, I believe most of the times they scored, it was because they had a short field. Because the Texans defense was able to just force turnovers all day. It was insane. But yeah, that was really the whole story of the game, actually, was just the fact that the Texans could get to Aaron Rodgers with relative ease. I mean, we've seen that all season where they just got to every opponent's quarterback, basically. But today it just felt worse. Because going into the game and going into the week, even the postseason, the whole thing is, in my mind, and probably in most minds as well, was if Aaron Rodgers loses this game, did we just watch his last game? And from the way he's played today, I think it might have. I think it might have. It may have. And if it didn't, there's going to be a huge talking point about that. You know, about whether or not he can come back next year and even help this team again. If the Steelers even want him. Because the Steelers, this was such a bad performance that the Steelers may just finally get rid of Mike Tomlin. The guy hasn't won a playoff game, I believe, since 2018. So we're nearing a decade. We're 8 years. It's been 8 years since he won a playoff game. And if I'm the Steelers, I can't let this mediocrity of us being 9-8 or 10-7 and getting into the playoffs and losing continue. It just simply can't, you know. I said in my recap a week ago that it's either the Steelers are going to accept being in mediocrity and just be 10-7 and lose everything, or they're gonna do what other teams do, which is either we're gonna be fine, we're gonna be bad for a year or two, you know, we're gonna win the 3, 4, 5 games, but we're gonna do that just so in the future we're gonna be winning 12, 13 games and actually having a chance at winning playoff games. Because currently, the way this team's been really made the last 8 to 10 years, it hasn't really been made for playoff runs. It's just been made for us to be like, well, we're not that bad. We're good enough to be in the playoffs. But sometimes good enough isn't good enough, you know? Especially if you're a franchise like the Steelers, who had 6 Super Bowls. You had the most Super Bowls when you won your 6th. I think in, 2008? Tom Brady only had 3 rings. The Patriots only had 3 rings. Tom Brady's been retired for like 4 years. He hasn't been on the Patriots in like 7 years. And yet he got to 6. He got 3 more. I think you guys have like what? Maybe 5 to 6 playoff wins? The Patriots Patriots won a playoff game this year. You know? And they were bad. But the thing is, they let themselves be bad. The Texans had a bad year. They let themselves be bad. 3 straight years, 3 straight playoff appearances, 3 straight wild card wins. I mean, it's the key to success sometimes is just being like, all right, we're going to retool. We're going to regroup, you know, we're going to rebuild a little bit. We're going to keep the pieces that we think are going to be great for us when we are a great team. But other than that, man, we're going to rebuild. We're going to get a new head coach, new GM, you know, everything new. The Steelers just have been okay with just being okay. You know, they haven't really... You can tell about the quarterback play. Aaron Rodgers is 42 years old, and he is the best quarterback they have had since Ben Roethlisberger. And even in saying that, Ben Roethlisberger couldn't throw the ball far because his shoulder was just fucked up in his last year. It's a miracle that they were even 11-0 that season. And you saw that even still then. They went like what, 1-6 to end the season and lost to the Browns like 42-21 at home. The Browns have a more recent playoff win than them. The Browns. The Cleveland Browns, a team that literally has nothing going on with them correctly except Myles Garrett. And if I'm Myles Garrett, why the fuck would I want to be on that team in the first place? The Steelers just need to become an actual NFL team and say, hey, we're going to regroup, we're going to rebuild for 2-3 years. And then after that, we're going to be that team, We're going to climb the fucking stairs again, climb that ladder, and we're going to be a playoff team that's actually going to compete in the playoffs and compete for the Super Bowl. Because this team just isn't doing that, And Aaron Rodgers was abysmal today. He was abysmal for many reasons. The first reason is because he just isn't that great of a quarterback anymore, He had flashes this season, but they were just flashes. They weren't consistent, hey, I'm going to perform this well kind of games. It was like, I'm going to have this great drive. Even the Steelers, even against the last week against the Ravens, at times he was just not a good quarterback. But it doesn't matter because he found a way to score that touchdown, the game-winning touchdown, So it's been a lot of flashes. It's just not been a consistent thing from him. And the other reason is because the Houston Texans defense is just really good. We all knew that going into the season, going into the postseason. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with just because the defense is going to be so great. But it was yesterday. I thought that Justin Herbert got his literal ass beat. He got belt to ass every play. I think there's a stat where he had 31 dropbacks and he was pressured in 30 of them. That's kind of what happened with Aaron Rodgers. He got his ass handed to him by this Houston Texans defense. The Houston Texans defense may have just molested fucking Aaron Rodgers in his last game. That's how bad it was. Aaron Rodgers is 0 in the first place. Can't move the way he used to. He still tries sometimes, but even that was just like terrible. It was ass. The Houston Texans, man, just ended Aaron Rodgers' career in the saddest way possible. Obviously, you're not gonna go out, like Super Bowl. Like Peyton Manning, like John Elway. No, you're not going to always do that. Sometimes you're going to have that rough year, like the Tom Brady goes 8-9, divorces his wife. Like sometimes you're going to have that bad season to end your career. And it looked cool. Aaron Rodgers is back in the playoffs for the first time in like 4 years. He's back. He can make this change, dude. Maybe the Steelers keep him another year. But this game may have just ruined the talks of that forever, just because if Aaron Rodgers does play next year, I don't think it's going to be for the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to probably go for like Malik Willis from the Packers, give him like 3 years, $60 million around there, and just figure something out with him. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back to the Steelers. I don't think he should come back to the NFL. I think he's at that age now where you're just like, all right, it's cool. It's fun seeing you play. It's kind of like Phillip Rivers. When Phillip Rivers came in for 3 games, it was fun to see you play, but we know you're not going to really do a whole lot. You don't have much left in the tank. And Phillip Rivers literally had nothing in the tank. He was already retired 5 years ago. Aaron Rodgers, I think, has nothing left in the tank. He has nothing to prove. He's already proved everything in his prime. In his prime, he was probably the best talent of a quarterback ever. You could say like Andrew Luck was the best prospect going into the league, which is probably true. But like Aaron Rodgers was, you watched the game and you just saw he was by far the most talented quarterback on that field. He has nothing left to prove. Nothing left to prove. Keep that body as healthy as he possibly can, and just retire and go set sail. Enjoy it all. Just your journey's done. Look back at it and enjoy it. Just it's over, I think. But the Houston Texans season is not over, and they got one more week. They're playing the New England Patriots next week. I believe on Sunday they are. Um, the Texans, they can literally win. They could beat every team in the league just because of the way their defense plays. We saw it today. They molested Aaron Rodgers. They kind of did though, and they could do that to basically any team in the league. Dude, I mean, I don't need to imagine. They just molested Justin Herbert and Aaron Rodgers in like 3 weeks. They like ruined those two teams, and they can do that to the Patriots next week. Obviously, we'll have to see if they're able to. But if I'm the Houston Texans, I'm very confident. I'm confident that we can do that just because we've done that to basically every team this year. Even the one seed, the Broncos, you may have lost, but you lost 18-15. Where it's like, if CJ Stroud does something, which by the way, or maybe that was the game where it was Davis Mills playing. Whatever it is, the Texans need good quarterback play. They need good quarterback play. We already know they can't really run the ball well. It's been better. It's gotten better as the years gone, but it's still a really shit run game. So they need more out of CJ Stroud if they want to win these next 2-3 games, because the defense is going to be there. The defense will be able to keep them in games. It's whether or not the offense is going to wake up. They're kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles, except they just have they have a better defense. So they're able to carry more than what the Eagles were supposed to carry on defense because they both have bad offenses. But the one good thing about the offense is that CJ Stroud can make the once in a while splash plays. You know, he like went 40 yards to Christian Kirk when it was absolutely needed to get this offense on a go. And you saw 23 points in the fourth. Like I said earlier, most of it was short field, game's already over kind of vibes. More like kind of like garbage. For me, when it became 17-6 after the scoop and score, that was the game. So these next two touchdowns to me were just like nails to the coffin. So yeah, but if the Texans get more from CJ Stroud, well, who's to say they can't make it to the Super Bowl? Obviously we'll have to see on Sunday, I believe, Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, that's my reaction to it. It's basically just I picked the Texans to win in a ugly game. The game was ugly. The Texans won. I'd want more out of CJ Stroud, but sometimes you don't need it just because your defense is able to do just that much more than what the offenses need to do. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.